Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I hope you had some time to reflect yesterday and also examine some of the triggers and also validate yourself that through any of the low points, you already came out of them. So I hope you're giving away some of the things that were not working for you in 2019 and looking at what are the things you want to introduce in 2020. I'm just going to start sharing the slides with you again, just to get us back. So we are now in looking at reflecting upon what is below the surface. And you will begin to see what are some of those triggers that are below the surface and what is holding you back. Whether you want to leave your job, whether you want to upscale your career, whether you're trying to be that leader, whether you're trying to improve your health, whether it's trying to improve your relationships, whatever was the thing that you wanted to bring into 2020, we are going to begin to look below the surface and what is holding you back. We're going to have a taste of neuroscience and see that how this works on our emotions and your self-belief and how you can be more self-aware in gaining more clarity. So let's start again with another exercise. If you had any questions from yesterday, please just jot them down. And even though this is a 7-day course, it's available to you for a month. So you can send me questions anytime during the month to help you along the way. All right, so what's below the surface? Again, I'm going to take you through another exercise where your mind is calm and we begin to look at what's below the surface. So, are you in a relaxed position with your hands down? Take a deep breath in and take a deep breath out. Okay. And think of the things that were probably holding you back, or the behaviors that you wanted to change, or the belief systems that you have that stop you from moving forward, or something you wanted to resolve and you didn't resolve in 2019. And what are the things you're thinking at getting stronger in 2020? You want to introduce in your life. Maybe it's some of the habits you want to change. Whatever it is, I want you to start thinking of it. Think of your triggers that you wrote down, and if there were any triggers. And what were the things that were not helping you to be your true self? Did you have any fears? Were you overstressed and overreacted in situations? Or did you just freeze? Or did you flight and wish you hadn't? So this is not about any regrets. This is about a session on how we can move forward. Okay? So take a deep breath in and we come back to start looking at some of this. Okay. So what are your current thoughts and feelings? What are your current thoughts and feelings? Just write them down. Any of your current thoughts and feelings that you're having right now, just write them down. Okay, and remember, emotions are data. They give you an indication of how your body should move, how your body should react. But one thing we also know about emotions, they're part of the animal side of our brain. They are triggered from the limbic side of the brain, and I'm just going to show you a picture of the brain. So this diagram of the brain is something I picked up from a course I was taking on conversational intelligence with Judith Glacier. Judith Glacier, unfortunately, has passed, but her work on language and how it can trigger off different emotions and different behaviors through her work on conversation intelligence has linked neuroscience. So what does it tell us? Our brain is made up of reptile, animal, and human. But we also have 6 brains. We have a gut brain and a heart brain. So basically, whatever we say to ourselves or what people say to us trigger negative or positive emotions. And when you use language or you say to yourself, I can't do it, it's not possible, I won't do it, your brain doesn't know the difference between what is reality and what's in the mind. So we trigger off emotions which come from the limbic, the animal side of the brain, and releases a chemical called cortisol. And what cortisol does, it shuts your brain from thinking because it protects yourself. So have you noticed that how you can't think straight when you're negative, or how your self-confidence goes down when you say you can't? Another thing about the brain is that memory is stored. So if you had a bad experience or somebody said something to you way back, and another thing happens in front of you today, and it triggers off a memory of the past where you had a deep emotion attached to it, you're going to behave the same way as you behaved in the past, because that's what the brain does. So I don't want to go too much into neuroscience, but all I want to say is that a lot of our own self-beliefs and our programming and the way we do things and the way we don't do things come from the way we react to situations. And if something is negative, you're going to protect yourself. So your animal and reptilian brain will come out and you will fight, flight, freeze, or appease. And if something is positive, then we release different chemicals called oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin. So this is why it's so important to stay positive and have hope. Because once the positive chemicals are released, they open the neurotransmitters of the brain, and it allows you to become more emotionally intelligent. So emotional intelligence is a whole other course that I can give you. But emotional intelligence helps us to recognize how to navigate through those emotions in a way that activates our neocortex and cortex in the most effective way. So emotional intelligence is a driver of success at work, at home, and actually makes you happier because you learn how to reset by knowing what your emotions are and understanding your triggers. Which takes us to what do we say to ourselves when we want to do things? So what happens in our state? So maybe in 2019, maybe in 2018, maybe whatever we're in our comfort zone. We are in our comfort zone. We feel safe and in control. We like the job we're in. We've been happy in there. We've been resided to it. We've been resided in our relationship. And I'm not saying to change anything. I'm only saying to change if you have a bigger picture in mind. So if you're feeling safe and in control and you're happy and that's where you want to be in all areas of your life, then that's fine. But if you feel that you want to grow and you want to learn and you want to set some new challenges for yourself and you want to increase that confidence and that self-belief within yourself and pump different chemicals, we need to move through stages. So we need to move out of the fear zone, where you find excuses. Like, I'll give you my story. The whole of last year, because I was so busy, I found excuses for not doing any webinars online. I mean, I started last year And some of you may have been on my course in January. But did I continue? No. Did I follow up and give you more webinars? No. I started with that piece. I was all pumped up in January to do it. I did that in January and February. And then, like a turtle, I went back in my shell. And why did I do that? Because I didn't want to put them on YouTube. I didn't want everybody to hear my voice. What did I look on camera? What if I said the wrong thing? What if family gets upset with me? What if I'm saying things that I shouldn't be saying? I was scared of knowledge getting shared online. So every time, I even remember when someone asked me, can you send me a video of the webinar? I wouldn't do it. So this time I said, do I want to continue traveling? And do I want to continue serving others? And do I want to help people move through their life with much more happiness and confidence, and businesses to be much more successful in the way they choose and work with their employees, and employees are much happier in their workplace? And do I really want to do that? Well, if I want to do it, and Claris Coaching is about that, then I have to get over this fear. It did take time. I'm not saying that it happened in one day, but it helped me recognize, and I had to go through some series of exercises. And that's another thing. If you want to go through those coaching exercises with me, you can register. But I had to go through a series of exercises to help me turn that negative perception into a positive one, and to look at the bigger picture of the growth zone, to set new objectives, to live dreams, to find purpose, to deal with the challenges and the problems, and to acquire new skills. So I acquired new skills in registering for an online course. I registered for 4 courses to help me to be more confident online. So it's not like I'm doing it alone, but I'm learning new skills, and I'm trying to extend out of my comfort zone. So I'm hoping that I'm going to be giving webinars throughout the year. And that's my story. What's your story? Just for a moment, I want you to reflect on this diagram and think of what your story is. What is your story? Where are you in your comfort zone and you're happy? Where are you not in your comfort zone, but you have fear because you lack self-confidence and find excuses, or affected by other opinions? What do you want to do? How do you want to move through your growth zone? And you know, when you start achieving and you start working towards fixing solutions, and you set your goals and achieve them, and you start visualizing and dreaming and moving towards that, you start releasing oxytocin and serotonin. When you start waking up in the morning and being grateful and having gratitude, you actually release serotonin. When you achieve those goals, you release dopamine. So we want to shift those chemicals in your mind so that you can be who you want to be and be confident in who you are, because the mind doesn't know the difference within what is outside and real and what is inside in your mind. Yes, you need energy of cortisol to fight the lions and the tigers and the emergencies that are out there. But you don't need that when you're working with negative things in your mind. An excessive use of cortisol can actually lead to depression, because it protects you and your immune system gets weaker. So take a step back. Put your hands high, because when you stand up and put your hands high, you are in power of what you want to do. One thing I really believe in is I focus on meditation. Meditation actually releases oxytocin. Meditation opens the neurotransmitters of your brain. There's enough scientific research. And if there's a course that you want to put as one of your goals on taking some mindfulness classes or doing meditation 15 minutes a day. There's lots of exercises on YouTube that are free. But the act of meditation and thinking positive releases those chemicals that open the neurotransmitters and helps you to become more emotionally intelligent and manage those demons that are going on in your mind. So that's the first thing I hope you're going to start doing. We all have limiting beliefs, and you are the only one holding yourself back. Let's do a little exercise to discover why. What is really beneath the surface that holds you back? I want you to think for a moment and make a list of all the things which may be holding you back, holding yourself back. Is it fear? What excuses are you making to yourself? Where does it trigger a memory? Just write them all down. And the excuses, are they real? I mean, I once asked somebody, just do 10 minutes meditation a day. And they said, I don't have time. Well, actually, we do have time. But wonder what the excuse really is. Is it being able to sit calmly and quietly? Is it because thoughts keep running in the head? Just make a list of all the things which are holding you back. And then for homework, I want you to take one of these and ask yourself, why do you think it is? Okay, that's your homework. So a little bit of introspection until you hear from me tomorrow. Any questions that you may have? And anything that you learned about yourself? What did you learn about yourself? What do you need to do more of? What do you need to do less of? Here are some introspective questions for you. And what action are you planning to take? These are all in your worksheet that is provided below, unless you downloaded it before. And write your comments and send them to services@clariscoaching.com. I have a short poll so that I know where you're at. And I look forward to being with you tomorrow, where we'll be looking at purpose and aspirations. Thank you. See you tomorrow.